till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? Welcome in. Pregaming, here we go. Sports Money, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. You already know what we do here. Collect, assemble, unite, and crush these bookies. We'll leverage line movements, cash flow splits, trends, injuries, whatever else the case may float for us to go out there and stack these chips high and let them fly. It's going to be a fun week. Thanksgiving week. How about that? We got all kinds of sports action. Hopefully you guys had a nice afternoon in college hoops. Back and forth for me. Started out strong and then dropped. Sadly, I was on UConn. So at that point, once they went to overtime, actually, I couldn't believe they went to overtime. And then I was like, you might as well lose. So, but full card in the NHL. I'm going to scale it back, though. I'm going to give you guys 2 plays in the NHL, 2 plays in college basketball. I've got 2 plays in the NBA, and I've got 2 plays for you in the Monday night football game, including our 2 touchdown parlay prop for plus 700 tonight. Trying to get back on the train and have a big week. We're due for one. Been a lot of middling, a lot of back and forth, up a unit, down a unit, up a unit, down a unit, including last Friday. No exception to the middling. Probably the biggest thing that we got going for us. Does it again. He does it again. No sweat bet. I still can't believe they're putting plus money on it. I got to believe this week that's going to die. This is going to be no. I can't imagine they'll have plus money this week. The guy's just been automatic for us, and he's been crushing. Now, these guys suck, and these guys did not get there either. But these guys did cash that first half again. Actually, I think that was a push. My fault. That was a push. We did cash this one easy, UNLV under 59.5. We did not cash this one. We did not push this one because of the hook. Typical Michigan State. And these pieces of shit found a way to score some points. But Duke fired. Big spot there, plus 1.5. Never in doubt. We have nailed some of these spots where, again, we had experience versus inexperience. The team in the bounce back situation that had just lost versus the team that lost 2 games ago and had a chance to get it right was Duke. So we nailed that spot. Sadly, it was a 50-50 split on this trend. There were 2 different teams to work with. And Alabama A&M did not work with us. This one got there easy for us. Houston under 131. I think that one under by, was that 15 points if I'm not mistaken? This one went over by a couple of points, though. They got us there. And then the only 2 hockey games, so we parlayed them together at a nice plus 140 price tag. Grind. But I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun. So thank you guys all that have come out for that 3 a.m. UFC stream. Look, pull no punches. Told you. We cash big bets, and we do not lie. These other motherfuckers can't deny. When the UFC ring gets in, you know how the rest of that song goes. What spot? We started off plus 700, plus 200, and then ran through the main card like it was going out of style. A bunch of other spots along the way. So it was a ton of fun. And I paid the price. I knew I was going to be just beat to hell. And that's exactly what happened. So anyways, we'll be doing it again. You guys know how we roll. So this week, some scheduling. There's only going to be NFL on Thursday. So I heard Ramon say he's going to pop off the show on Thursday morning. So there will be no pregaming Thursday at 6 p.m. because I believe at that point, maybe there'll be some college hoops, but NFL pretty much going to be the lone ticket in town. No more of that college football sneak in there on Thursdays. And that's fine. That's fine. But we'll be back. We'll be ready to attack for the Friday card, business as usual. We'll still give you guys, all the goods, all the fun stuff that we use to get paid, all going to be in play. And I believe, let me just check something real quick. I believe we do have the first of its kind, a Black Friday Amazon Prime game. The Las Vegas Raiders, the Kansas City Chiefs, a divisional battle. Starts at 3 p.m. on Friday. So we're going to go live for that thing. Why not? Why not have some fun with the first Friday NFL live stream, live game? Get your Black Friday shopping done. Get your asses back in here, and let's get some money to pay for those fun things that you guys buy on Friday morning at 3 a.m. And believe you me, you're going to be hurting when 11 a.m. rolls around. You'll be dead to the roll around 1 p.m., which is exactly what I expected to have happen last week. So let's go. Let's get to the business of getting that cash here, boys and girls. It's time to sink in. I'm going to do one thing real quick. This is a perfect opportunity for you guys to hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, give that thing a smash for us. Show the support, help bring the people in, help let them know where we're here to make that cash, and maybe they'll bring some best bets in and they can make that cash and help us make even more cash. How about that? Cash, 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 cash. 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 All right. Let's do just that here. We got the little button. Close the comment section out. Hit that thumbs up button and then pop the comment section back open and get back in play. Let's get to work. All right. We do have action in play out there. The sub club parlay is posted to the community tab. Our guy Gonzo's back with his NHL bets here. Week number 2 for Gonzo in the cap and game publicly. Now, I know we've been tracking his action behind the scenes all season. I know he's been tweaking the model, getting ready to go. And if you know, you know. So don't be afraid to get out there, hit the thumbs up button on the content that we post in the community tab, including the consensus reports for college football and the NFL. Started out hot with the community tab yesterday, and then it went to not. And then we closed off big. The Eagles. Easy winner. I asked Joe T. I said specifically, matter of fact, I'll read it to you guys. Because I said, Joe T, do yourself a favor. Change that pic on your profile. I'm embarrassed for you. So what do you think happened last night? Did the Eagles expose them for the frauds they are, or was the coach just not able to get them prepared for the biggest game of the season? And he didn't respond, so I responded for him. I said, I think it was a little of both. The frauds and bad coaching intersected, and everyone got a chance to see it on national television. So it was a huge Eagles game, huge Eagles win. Saquon Barkley, holy smokes. It's funny, people were talking at the start of the season like, Saquon, what's he going to do? And what's he going to do? They had the best offensive line. We talked about this when the season started. They got the best offensive line in football. You got a team that has arguably the best wide receivers in football. And then you add to it one of the best running backs in football that wants to be there. Don't underestimate the motivation of throwing the bird to the guy that didn't want you. That's definitely a big factor. And it was a lot of fun to see that game. Finished off the week. What strange endings, though, huh? The afternoon games, the 1 o'clock spots. Wow, it was somewhat difficult to watch. I mean, look, Bears almost beat the Vikings outright. The Bears, man, if it wasn't for the Vikings and the Lions, they could potentially be battling for that top spot right now. I know it sounds crazy, but they lost a game by an interception. They lost a game because they ran out of time. They lost a game because they missed a kick. They only got 7 losses. Vikings only have 2, so could have been that close, that much difference there. It was exciting to see that fourth quarter, though, man. Caleb Williams coming around. The Lions continue to smash. Now we got 2 smash candidates for next week. If you guys know the deal, you know the deal. Circle them, write them down, highlight them, do whatever you got to do. Teams, after they play the Lions, have only won 1 time this season. Now we have 2. The Jacksonville Jaguars got housed, and then they went on a bye. It does work for the bye. We saw that last week with the Packers. Then you got the Colts. Colts in play as well. So after teams play the Lions, get ready to fade them teams that following week. I don't know. Maybe it just takes a lot out of them. I can see that being the case, though. The mental anguish that goes into just getting busted up for 60 straight minutes. Dolphins and Tua coming back to life, literally. Smacking them Patriots. They are that bad. Probably the big spot for me. Look at some of you guys underestimate the importance of who gives a shit if the star player's out. And look at the Cowboys taking down the Commanders. The now 7-5 Commanders. Oh, there's no Dak. They're better without Dak. I said it. I stand by it. 34-26. Dak's a piece of shit. Now everybody knows. This guy comes in here with no practice, no prep time, goes out there and does, well, a little bit of prep time, I guess, but goes out there and smacks him. How about the Chiefs? Patrick Mahomes. When Patty O. McHolmes is in the 7-point or larger role, he's a losing quarterback against the spread. Can you believe that? 7 or more points. He had, I want to say it was like a 25% win ratio. 25% win. You fade his ass when he's given more than 7. Packers beat up the Niners. Suspect Niners team. No quarterback. And the Seahawks. The Seahawks kind of rounded things out for me. I was a little bit of surprised to see the Seahawks take down the Cardinals. We saw that Kyler Murray was running hot, but hey, shout out to them Seahawks. Let's go. And now we got this big Monday nighter. So we'll talk two plays for you guys in Monday Night Football. So let's get to work here. Make sure you guys get that pen and paper. I told you already, the best in the business assemble right here, right now, to give their best bets. We've all been marinating on this card all day. We've been dialed in, looking at all the reasons to play this team or fade that team, and now's the time to put our money where our mouth is. So get that pen and paper, write these things down. I already gave you some plays to write down for next week. How about that? 2 NFL plays already. Auto bets. We've been riding that trend all season. So why not? Now, this is tricky. If you haven't been riding the trend, when do you choose to get in? I'll tell you this. Can't be in if you're out. Can't be out if you're in. But speaking of being in, let's get these plays in the chat and let's recognize what the best of the best have for their action tonight as well. Let's all get to the window. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to grow that bankroll. We all got Christmas presents to pay for coming up. We all got vacations coming up. We all got things going on that need to get cash. So let's open up with Joe T. Commenter numero uno. And his F you're under. Play of the day. The Jets and Wild over 5.5. He's also going to play the first period over 1.5. So low scoring game will hurt Joe T there. But I think that's a good look. Why not get after that one there, Joe T? Go get it, my guy. Also says over in the football game. Also likes the over. Primetime over for Jover. Jover T. It's fucking Rams, Joe. I told you. NJ Strikers in the house. Rob McMahon. Hashtag vodka style, my dude. Joe W's in the house. Robert McCormick. There's Gonzo. He's ready to rock with us. Redbeard's here as well. Justin McKelvey says sports money is money. The Futon Bets likes the Vegas money line. Like Jaden Ivey under 1.5, 3 points made. Stop, buddy. Let's get this cash. I like that Vegas look. I think the Flyers are wearing their Beat Cancer jerseys tonight, though. Speaking of wearing special jerseys, here's another one to write down. Sabres will be wearing the Goathead jerseys on Friday. Now you know. There's 3 plays for later this week. We haven't even gotten to tonight's card. That's what I'm saying. You want to write this stuff down. Ricky Levine likes the Jets money line. Says Minnesota 0-12 as a dog versus the Central. Yikes, Ricky Levine. Mr. Bate, what's good? That Memphis-UConn game was great tonight. This Pacers double result bet. I'm saying it's a gift. All right, Mr. Bate. Pacers double result. Man, I had a glow going yesterday for that Eagles game, and I was looking back at some of the wins this morning, and I was like, man, I don't even remember making half those bets. But I had a double result in there for the Eagles last night because they were supposed to smash. It was always they're going to smash. There was no option but to smash, and smash they did. So shout out to you, Mr. Vape. It's always great to see you in here, my friend. And I got this written down. Matter of fact, not only will I get it written down, but I was a strong lean. Strong lean in that. I tell you what, there's about 50 games I like tonight. I can't keep coming in here and middling. We got to add one more degree of filter to really start running this thing. So thank you for sharing, Mr. Vape. Philly Eagle Flyer, we're rooting for you, my guy. We're rooting for you tonight with the Ramon Scott Morning Consensus Parlay Play Giveaway Day. Go get it. I think it's 6 legs, too, if I'm not mistaken. That could be juicy. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Ramon Scott, you come in the chat, you make a comment. It records you as making the comment. And then at the end of the show, he does a little randomizer to pick one person. And based on that consensus from the morning steam, Ramon goes and parlays it together and gives you the proceeds. Pretty good deal. Just come in and say hi. Just come in and say good morning, Ramon. Come in and say, Ramon, thanks for being here every fucking day. Because you know he's going to be there on Thursday. Brandon the Great says, I think Henry scored 2. But does Aguilar score any? Out here catching babies, unlike Nelson Aguilar. Every time I hear Aguilar, I think that. Every single time. Philly Eagle Flyer likes the Calgary Flames -1.5. Irish King says, cashed heavy yesterday. I'm locked in. Got a lot on. And, well, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Got a dude locked in. We want to hear it. Redbeard says, J.K. Dobbins, Derrick Henry, Ladd, McConkey, anytime touchdown, +425. Hey, yo! In the house says Chargers +6.5. 2.5 field goals. And Derrick Henry, 2+ touchdowns, huh? You know, I saw something about these, was it the top 3 running backs, right? Derrick Henry, they don't want to pay him in Tennessee. He goes on out. Saquon Barkley, they don't want to pay him in New York, so he moves on out. And then, who was the third one? I'm forgetting. Yeah. Their teams are smoking it, almost locked playoff positions. And the teams they came from, surprise, surprise, they're getting destroyed. Might have to reevaluate the weighting of the system in aged quarterback or aged running backs. A skilled running back is something important to have for sure. Irish King took an NFL prop. Same game probably for the Harbaugh game. Well, let's hear it, my guy. Let's hear this shit. You're running hot. Let's go. Shout out to David Wallace. Nasty Nate likes the Celtics second quarter. That's probably the only way I would play the Celtics. Celtics spot tonight. But not an official play for me. Second quarter. I might have to get in there and get me a little second quarter action. I know you guys are making second quarters great again. Philly Eagle Flyer like sprinkle. I like that. Why not? Why not have a 50-yard field goal by Tucker? Get in there. Shout out to Damon's in the house. Nasty Nate says, hit the like, you cowards. I mean, please hit the like button. It's better. Shout out to Dana Delp. Jay Main. Let's go. Ted B. I hammered the under 4 times yesterday, plus the Eagles made up my Commanders' miserable loss. That was a fun game, though, that Commanders game. Holy cow. It's funny when you don't care either way and you don't have any vested interest in it. Let's go. There we go. I was told Monday night games go under, but I see it's 10-4 to the over. Yeah. I don't know. Kind of think this one goes over too. Kind of do. Problem is, we'll get to it. I'm going to tell you this right now. Here's a sneak peek for my action. Justin Herbert's a fraud. Yep. Wait till you hear some of the numbers. Look. Bad. Ramon is a legend. Dana Delplex, Clemson -2.5. Let's go. Time to go, you guys. Illegal Flyers. Anyone know what the legs were? Just remember it's mostly basketball. I don't remember. Ramon's probably won them all. He's probably won every single one of them, but he's like, we missed that last leg. And everyone's like, what? I don't remember that leg being a consensus. No, I'm just kidding. Ramon. Shout out to Mitch Morber. Ted B says, I'm leaning the Chargers in the under 50.5. Everyone's on the over. Not happening. Mixon. Not Mixon. He is not a crook. Shout out to Joseph Alvarado. Our guy Oldies here. There's Keith. Says, hey, I like the receptions over for both Andrews and likely touchdown prop. Henry and Palmer at +425. And Jay Stricker says, yep. Need more weapons on offense, which the Giants don't have, Mike. Irish King likes Orlando in the first quarter. Here we go. He's sharing that action. He said he's been dialed in. He's got Orlando first quarter. He's got Golden State first quarter. Got the Mavs money line. Nice. Nathan Cerna hit his first leg of a 4-legger tonight. That's always exciting. Pays out 400. Need it. Fuck yeah, man. Take 100. I'd take it if it paid out 100. How about that? Doesn't matter at this point. Doesn't really matter. King likes the over 232.5 in the Knicks-Denver game. Again, he's been dialed in, so he's sharing his action. Nasty Nate likes Chargers in the over teaser. Okay. Dana Dump says Auburn should smash. And Ramon on for 3+. Ramon was, I know. I was texting my voice like, Ramon's still going. It's awesome. Awesome. Great morning steam from our guy, Ramon Scott. I hope you guys check it out for sure. Great way to start the day. We bookend kind of this gambling time slot by doing it the way that we have it here with the 9 a.m. show and the 6 p.m. show. And there's googly-eyed Ringer in the house. I like that hoodie on you. Thanks. Ravens money line and Lamar over 7.5 rushing attempts, a Henry touchdown. Okay. I think we got everybody covered. I think we're ready to go. Here we go. Irish King, 3-piece parlay. Avalanche money line, regulation for Florida, and Winnipeg money line. 3-piece parlay. All right. I like that you snuck the Florida regulation in there too. We'll be talking about that game right now. Let's get into it. Let's talk some puck. We'll talk some hoops. We'll talk some orange oval shaped ball. I don't know what the pigskin, I guess, is what that's called. But we'll start right now with the early action in the NHL, and we'll look at this Capitals game, and we'll look at them versus this Florida Panthers game. And, you know, what can you say? Devastating is the term I would use to describe what happened to none other than Alex Ovechkin. Guy was on a tear. You know, I went from he's never going to break Wayne Gretzky's record, like a couple years ago, I was thinking this, to when he sold me, like the first 10 games of this year, I'm like, man, he's having the best start of his season ever, I think, in a career. And now here he is, busted up and out. Busted, is it a fibula? That knee-on-knee shit's bad news in any sport, specifically hockey, with the speed those guys are rolling. And now we got the Capitals bringing in none other than Logan Thompson. He's got a great record. He's 8-1 on the season, 8-1-1 on the season. He's rolling a 2.58 goals against average and a 91.4% save percentage, which is spectacular. We covered the rationale of player statuses, and that's definitely excellent. On the other side of things, Spencer Knight, not so excellent for the Florida Panthers, 3-3. Would like to see Bobrovsky, but you know, they're going to give him a break. He's been riding hot, or he's been riding hard, I should say. 2.72 goals against average for Spencer Knight, 89.7% save percentage. And the problem we're seeing with the Panthers right now, look, they're on a 3-game losing streak. They're getting outscored. They're just getting outmanned, outscored 16-8. That's a 2-1 number over the course of those 3 games. That's not good, to say the least. And they're going to go back tonight. It'll be his second time in 3 games. It's not enough of a sample, I don't think, to really. I mean, yeah, 3-3, but he's that middling. He's like one good game away from crossing over that hump and getting himself a little bit more consistent action. Does that come tonight? Well, the benefit to a team in the Florida Panthers that have been outscored 16-8 over a 3-game stint, the Capitals aren't scoring either. They only scored 3 goals in 2 games since Ovechkin went out. That's how important this guy is to the lineup. But now we're past that hump of star players out theory, play him the first day, fade him the rest of the time until this player comes back. And I think that's about where we're going to see, situationally speaking, this Washington Capitals team. And if you want validation and you want proof, look at the line. Look at this number opening up. You got a 3-game in a row losing streak in the Florida Panthers, and they're opening up as minus 170s? Really? That tells you what you need to know. It's going to be a lower scoring game, evidenced by 1, Logan Thompson, 2, both teams having a difficult time finding the back of the net. And I love that regulation look. I jumped in on it. That's how I opened up my card. It's a squirrely little number But I just think that the problem here is that their heart and soul was ripped out when Ovechkin went down. And I think a Florida team that's hungry for a win, very much capable of coming in here. They just played a game against Colorado, but I said they couldn't score. They go out there and they do find 4 goals in that Colorado game. So it's their second game at home. This will be the first game on the road out of the last 2 for the Capitals here. I think it's a difficult scheduling spot. And the Capitals, we called that Colorado loss 2-1. Then they lose to New Jersey. So as the competition stepped up, they stepped back. And I think that's important for this matchup here with this Florida Panthers team. Let's see our guy get a nice little, I don't want to say the S word, very religious, or superstitious. But Spencer Knight grabs himself a 7-letter word that starts with an S and ends in a T. And I'll be just fine with that. Let's go Florida Panthers. Game number 2. What is game number 2? Who knows what game number 2? Oh, here we go. But I might as well leave it up there now. What's the difference? You already saw it. What's the difference? Maybe you didn't see it. Now you're like, what is he talking about? I'm talking about Annunen, likely starter for the Colorado Avalanche, and Andrei Vasilevsky. Him. In a battle. Colorado, huh? Coming into this thing, took that revenge. Now the Colorado team's healthy. They come back. They're fired up. They get a revenge spot to start that road trip off against the Capitals, the aforementioned Capitals. It's funny because we kind of find these teams in like little grooves, and we'll kind of ride some of the same teams 2 or 3 times until they buck. And I think the Colorado Avalanche are due to buck in this game here. And again, it's a situation where you've got Tampa Bay Lightning that lost back-to-back games. Columbus 6-7. We talked about that. That was the throwaway. Remember? That was the 3-game stretch that we talked about. Pittsburgh, we knew they were going to win that game. Sadly, it wasn't in regulation. We talked about that. It went into overtime. The -1 was obviously the push there. We got that big score at +165 for the Columbus Blue Jackets in an overtime game there as well. But Tampa's starting a battle. We knew that was the throwaway spot because they had their first home game back against Dallas, and they lost that one 4-2. So they're now back in a need-to-win situation, and you got this Colorado Avalanche team that's won 4 of its last 5 games. Annunen comes in at 6-3 for the Colorado Avalanche. We know Gorgiev's the difficult pile of shit. Annunen's the go-to, I guess, at 2.81 with an 88.6% save percentage. I think that shows that he's vulnerable and that he's got the, it's not his fault that 88.6% save percentage isn't good, bottom line. Now, part of that was because the injuries that went up and down that Colorado Avalanche lineup left them depleted on the blue line, and that left them vulnerable to get scored on, or get shot on at the very least. His last game was that start against, who did he start last against? 24 of 26 shots against the Philadelphia Flyers. So he's rested coming into this game. But you got Vasilevsky. Guy's been playing like a fucking raging beast, with one exception. First time in a month he allowed more than 3 goals in a game. 24 saves on 28 shots, and they lost. He wants to bounce back. He's got a 2.26 goals against average and 91.5% save percentage. Just look at the goalies like you look at starting pitchers. There's a superior advantage in Vasilevsky, who's a Vezina Trophy winning goaltender, off of a terrible performance. Not even terrible. It was 4 goals. But it was still 4 goals. And looking to bounce back. Now, look at this line. Here's another one. Look at how this line opened up. We see that the Colorado Avalanche opened at -116. They're now an even money dog. And you know who's got the best number? FanDuel. Tampa Bay has been swelling all afternoon. A couple cents here, a couple cents there, a couple cents here, a couple cents there. The theme being bounce back at home, play to the competition. Very well could be a Stanley Cup potential matchup between these two. I do think this will be a lower scoring game again. But I am going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning to pop the card off in the NHL. Little 2 spot for you guys there in the NHL. Ooh, you guys are firing in the chat, huh? Let's go. Let's see what's going on here. Irish King says, put more pieces together. Nathan Cerna says, took the Devils money line first in their division. Let's look there. J-Main. Herbert, over 34.5 pass attempts or not. Baltimore, 8 quarterbacks went over this number versus them. They're going to be down. They're going to be down and chasing. They're going to be down and chasing is my expectation in this game. Yeah, it's official now. Annanen is going to start. I just got the daily face-off text. Markstrom's official. Igor Shesterkin's official. I think some of these guys were already official. Did you say Saros going to start for the Nashville Predators against the New Jersey Devils? You know, and Andrew Vasilevsky is going to start as well. He's confirmed. I'm inclined to think under in that Devils game. You know what? I am going to add the under. Now that I see that goaltending situation here, I'm going to take the under. What do we got for the number? There's a little impromptu ad for you guys here. And I'm going to take the 6. I see there's 6.5s out there. It's juicy at minus 140. Juicy Saros. But I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under 6. Catch a minus 110. Under 6. Minus 110. Here to help me for later. All right. You want to see it on the screen? There it is. Just bear with me for 1 second while I drop this action. Action Jackson. Okay. We're loaded just like that. There's a third play in the NHL. We only got through the NHL. We already got a third play. What's going on here in college hoops? Let's go. Now, we do it a little bit different when it gets to the college basketball and rest of the sport environment for that matter. Look at more of the cash flow splits to analyze where's the cash coming in, who's the individuals that are making those bets, and then what, pray tell, are the books saying? How are they reacting to this cash? I got 2 big games. I love me some college basketball and the NHL are at least 1 and 2, if not 1A and 1B. I love the speed. I love the pace and the tempo of these games. Gives me that adrenaline rush that I need to be able to get through 90 minutes of waiting to see if I won or lost. Unlike the UFC, where you know inside of 10 minutes if you won or you lost. How about that girl in the UFC that kicked that chick in the head, broke her neck for her, took her out in the stretcher? You know that girl was a doctor and her parents don't know that she's in the UFC? I thought that was interesting. The little 5'5" girl that kicked the girl on the side of the face and dropped her like a sack of potatoes is a doctor. And her parents have no idea she's in the UFC. Thought that was an interesting little storyline. But anyways, I digress. Let's look at this battle here. I got so excited about this game, I took it out of turn. Because the second game obviously starts a little before it. But this one starts at 9 p.m. We got Auburn, the Tigers, rolling in. Number 4 in the nation. This game's going to be a ton of fun. They open at minus 1.5. They've moved to 3.5. And we've got only 33% of the bets, but 88% of the cash coming in on that Auburn side. That's where we talk about the pros versus the Joes, right? The percentage of bets typically accounting for, tickets, parlays, even player props and teasers, like all of it. Every ticket that's been written, whether you're a $5 bettor or a $500 bettor or a 50-cent bettor, every ticket that's been written kind of counts in there. And a lot of tickets are getting written for Iowa State. Then we look at the cash and we see that based on that percentage of cash, well, generally speaking, that's a guy coming in with a backpack full of money saying, book me on Auburn. So they go back, they get the bank manager's approval, the casino manager's approval. They book the action. Then we look for the reaction. What does Vegas think about this? Well, they think it's pros versus Joes. They're concerned about the pros. The sharp bettor that's coming in with the backpack full of cash. They moved it from minus 1.5 to minus 3.5. And the total's gone from 146.5 down to 144.5. Yet we have 92% of the bets and 92% of the cash. And we're in Lahaina, one of my favorite places to be. Maui, Wowie. And they're going to go after it here. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be fun. This whole tournament, the Maui Invitational is just a good time. But look, it's going to be a tough battle for Iowa State. I think Auburn probably fucking rocks the floor with these dudes. The challenge I'm having with the side is if you've been watching today, and I know each game's an individual contest, but dogs have been barking, man. like across the board. And I think two things about that. One, I think NIL dollars are making an impact. So, yeah, you're still getting your Auburns generating top talent, but like UConn, who's won back-to-back national championships, gets smoked, giving up a 10 spot. They're laying a 10-pack, and they get fired up. Something ain't right. Now, the other part of it is because of the exposure they get, the games are long, and players have more opportunity for rest. And I think that rest creates that mismatch, or it neutralizes that mismatch, because even if a team's not deep and you're playing against a team like a UConn that's got, 2 stacked sets of lines and then some, you don't need to go to that well as often because, they're sitting around sucking down water, watching the coach write shit up on the clipboard, and away they go. And that's very much a factor. We've seen that time and again. That's why the tournaments, the college basketball, March Madness does what March Madness does. You don't have to be deep. You have to have a couple big motherfuckers out there that can shoot the ball. And why not play some defense while you're at it? Auburn only giving up 59.3 points a game. That's 18th in the nation. Number 18. They're limiting opponents to 35.7% shooting. Iowa, their defense is even better. Iowa State, excuse me. Let's make sure we make that distinction in the sand. Iowa State's defense, they're ranked second in the scoring defense at 51 points a game and allowing just 35% shooting. So you have defense versus defense in a spot where defense travels, and you got a small run going on the side in favor of Auburn. Even though big money's coming in, it has moved to 2 points. I do think Auburn kicks the shit out of these boys. Iowa State, they're an under team. They're a defense-oriented team. That's because they can't keep up with the scoring. I think that's going to lead to this Auburn side of things. But it's good enough for me to see, they control pace of play. They capitalize on rebounds. Top 25 rebounding defense as well as Iowa State. Big factor out there. And if you look at the history of Auburn's lines, they're starting to run down as well. Neither team's really a three-pointer. When you kind of look at how these teams have started off their first, 5 games of the season each. Auburn, fires in at about 66th in the nation. Iowa State fires in at about 265 in the nation. So defense is the key in this one. And why not a little stat booster for you guys as well? Iowa State totals, when they're greater than 136.5, guess what they do? They go under. They go under a perfect 9 straight. 9 straight. What's up, Daddy Cab's in the house? What's you smoking on, Daddy Cab, my guy? Let's go. It's good to see Daddy Cab in here. Daddy Cab, I'm firing up. I'm opening up the college basketball card tonight. I wrote the same thing down twice. What an idiot. What an idiot. Totally. You're an idiot. Under 144.5 for us. This line's gotten a little juice now, though. Minus 105 is the best number we can find out there, and we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll run with it. I expect Auburn to kick the shit out of these guys. I just worry a little bit about a defensive-oriented contest. Auburn, the 3-point factor to me is negligible in the fact that they're playing in a neutral site game in Lahaina. So, side note, that's a fucking great spot to be. Been out there several times, and it is never disappointed. No, it's never disappointed. Never. We'll say that. But I'm going to take the under. Just give me the under. I thought about, do I parlay this together with the side? Nah, I don't want to get cute. I don't want to be middling shit out anymore. Let's just get this money and let's move the fuck on to this next game because we've got the 8:30 battle. I know I went out of sequence with you guys on the time. I apologize. Xavier in South Carolina popping off 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And here's the spot. 67% of the bets and 62% of the cash on South Carolina. I don't know why, but the line's dropping. Now down from 6.5s to 6 down to 5s. And the total's got 87% of the bets and 86% of the cash on the over. Xavier, this is a weird one because you look at Xavier, they're 5-0 on the season. South Carolina's just a average 3-2. But I still do believe that the SEC's they're on like steroids when it comes to college basketball. Like they're getting kind of like a little boost right now because they've had such a focus the last couple of years in drawing in talent. And with NIL dollars for big schools like in Alabama, like a South Carolina, You get, well, I don't know, not so much in terms of the size of the school, but like a Georgia probably is a better example. They got NIL dollars. They got booster money to spread the fuck around, and they can use that to attract players to fill out the ranks of their college basketball programs. That's why we're seeing the SEC continue to rise and climb the ladder. Then you look at the other side of things, and you look at Big Ten teams. Yeah, Big Ten used to be the basketball programs. Why? It's fucking cold in the wintertime, and you're indoors shooting basketballs, and it don't matter if you're north or you're south. The weather's all the same. It's climate controlled, 70 degrees, and unless the air conditioner breaks, it's pretty much the same across the board. Basketball courts are the same. Well, now you bring in some SEC dollars. I see some of these pictures that come across. All I got to say is, if you had the option to go to Florida Gulf Coast and be a star player, or go to a Penn State and sit on the bench, what are you going to do? And I'm talking about co-ed environments. That's what I'm talking about. Send me down to the South, man. It just seems like that's the place to be. That being said, I digress and I sidetrack here. South Carolina comes off a big win against Mercer. Good job. 84-72. 18.5 points. They didn't thump them, but they are on back-to-back overs. In fact, they've gone over 4 of 5 times this season. I don't want to tip my hand, but I might have just done that. Obviously, Xavier's beating up everybody. SIE, Wake, Jackson State. I mean, they're firing, they're running, they're gunning. They should, expected. Not so much against the spread. And that's another spot where I'm going to stay away from the side. I'm going to go to the total. But I'm going to get in line. I think this might be a Joe T special type of play here. We're going to take the over. We have intersecting zeros on this over as well. We have Xavier, a perfect 11-0 when the total's less than 154. They're coming off of rest, and they busted up the margin by 20 or more points and shot less than 17 free throws. What does that tell us? As long as the number's not super inflated, they didn't just grind and chip away with a bunch of free throws, and they beat the brakes off the school. They're in rhythm, is what that tells us, and they're covering by over 17 points on the total, 16.8 points. Flip side, South Carolina. This is a window situation. 142.5 to 153.5. 11-0 to the over if they made fewer than 31 shots the previous game. It's a bounce back spot. That's what that stat tells us. South Carolina is in a bounce back spot when they're pegged between 142.5 and 153.5. They made fewer than 31 shots, and yet the number continues to climb against their season average. The books know something, and they know this game goes over the total. That's how we're going to book game number 2. We're going to take this over 146.5. Lock it in, drag it out. There's 2 college basketball games for you. You get an under, you get an over. And I think Illinois kicks the shit out of Arkansas Little Rock, too, while we're at it. How about that? I put my neck on the line for you guys with that one. Fucking beat down City. They're getting 23.5 for a reason, and I still don't think it's enough. That could be a 40-pointer. My index is that thing around 38, so not going to go official with it. It's a little bit later in the day, and I got enough of this other stuff cooking, but you do want to get into the college hoops ranks. Yeah, we'll look for the SEC schools to kick the shit. We'll look for the Big Ten schools to kick the shit out of these programs that are coming out here taking the paydays. And that's it. So let's move on. Let's talk some NBA. Shout out to Oldie in the house. Gifting 5 sports money memberships. That always gets me jacked up. Blessing our action. Coming in here on the regular, creating positive vibes, giving 5 sports money memberships, helping us build this community 1 sports money membership at a time. In this case, it's 5 times helping us build, man. What a bunch of fun we got coming up here too, you guys. With this afternoon action, it's going to be super important if you do get gifted these memberships that you make sure you turn your notifications on. You're going to have some action released all throughout the week with these afternoon plays because I don't go on until 6 o'clock. And I don't plan to go on until 6 o'clock. So unless it's Friday, and then I'll go on at 3 o'clock. So you're going to want to make sure you have those notifications on. Those are silver and gold level plays that we've made available to everybody as we've just kind of started this thing off. So, right now you're bronze members. Maybe think about the upgrade, but down the road, we will have those exclusive to silver and gold members. But it's so important to have guys like Oldie in here helping us grow this thing, blessing our action, building by example. My God, let's go. Shout out to you, Old E. Cheers to you, my guy. Turnsy 66 is in here. He likes Nashville on the money line. And he likes San Jose State. San Jose Sharks. I know, just kidding. I like that look too. Fuck Red Light Rittich. He's a scumbag. Dana Dub says, I see them versus IU, no defense. Triple double. Yes, at plus 115. I'll see you guys at the gate. And John C says, Oldie is the champ. He is the champ, man. Let's go. Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to all you guys rocking with this here. Appreciate Oldie blessing our action. Hey, we got a Dabby Cab spot, too. He's on Auburn minus 3.5. He had Memphis plus 9. Should have took the money line. Philly Eagle Flyer. Flames money line. Senators under 2.5 goals plus 2,000. You know, if you were asking me for another hockey play, I would take the under 2.5 and the Islanders to win that game. I would same game parlay that. Those fucking games have been 1 goal, 1-0s. No reason not to. Anyways, let's go. We still got 2 sports to knock in here. 2 more. Let's go 7 p.m. start. Let's go to the NBA. We'll go to the National Basketball Association, a.k.a. the association, a.k.a. the I can't play back-to-backs. And the Hornets open up at plus 2. They moved up to plus 5. 51% of the bets and 53% of the cash are on the Magic. So everybody loves this Magic spot, and the book showed concern. However, they have moved back to 4.5. So, you know, Ramon mentioned this earlier, and I thought he said it. He was very articulate in the way that he commented, and he said, typically the closer to game time you get when there's that bigger move, the sharper bet that's been respected enough to crash the number. So the closer to the start, the bigger the move, the sharper the bet, and this thing's coming down. The sharps like that 5. 92% of the bets and 89% of the cash are on the over. Went from 214.5 down to 212.5. So we're dropping. 11-7 are the Magic, but what can you say? Is Ball the third guy this season? Third or fourth guy this season to go off with a 50-pack? Comes off the bench, stop being injured, goes out there, and he just knows 2 things. Kicking ass and being injured. And he's chosen the latter. As he started off here, the Hornets dealing with Miles Bridges, Nick Richards, Trey Mann, and Mark Williams all out. Magic have Wendell Carter, Jalen Suggs, and Paolo Banchero out of this thing here. We know Banchero's been out for a minute now. LaMelo Ball, though, 30.2 points a game on average, 6.9. The guy's pretty much a walking double-double. Impressive. How about this one? The Hornets. Here we go. I'll take the points. 6-0 this season when they're dogs of less than 6 points. The Hornets are 17-58 on an ATS winning streak if they lost or won the previous game by less than 5 points. Interesting spot. 6-0 as long as they're within that key number under a 6-pack. Under a 6-pack. They are on a winning streak. It's a 4-game and 5-day winning streak. But the Hornets, look, coming off that loss, bounce back city, and should be ready to go. So they were on a winning streak. They went through that losing streak. They got their players back. I think they can lead by ball, and they got a 6-0 against the spread number for us. We'll take the points. I got 5s. Let me see if there's any 5s left. Shop around. 4.5 at minus 108. We'll keep it for official record keeping. We'll take the 4.5. Shouldn't matter. The margin is 7. That, you know the deal. When we got a margin of 7 and a team's getting 4.5, does that mean they're a live dog? It does. Onward and upward. Let's roll on to this next game. Second game for the NBA. I kind of like the 2 spot for you guys here. Guys, show me support by way of that like button here. If you can get us a shit ton of likes, I'll come in and give you guys even more of these trends. It's just it's a long day coming up with these numbers, but here we go. The Dallas Mavericks, the Atlanta Hawks open up at plus 1 now, plus 2.5 for the Dallas Mavericks. With all that money coming in, they got 89% of the bets and 82% of the cash on the Dallas Mavericks, and yet the lines moved 1.5 points. Then we look at the total has dropped from 237.5 to 236s, despite 80% of the bets and 77% of the cash on the over. we're seeing reverse line movement to some degree. Now, tricky spot when I was looking at this game initially. I mean, obviously when you start to see some of these reverse line movement factors, the first thing I start to think is, well, let's look at the injury report. Dallas, Luka, Clay, out of there. Atlanta, predominantly healthy. See how I chose to play this one. I got to double check because I had 2 looks at it. The over. Dallas on the road as less than a 6.5 point dog are a perfect 8-0 to the over. I know I talk about some of these players and how it doesn't matter. I think a team like Dallas, first of all, we got the Hawks are fucking horrible at home. We've talked about it time and again. They're just a bad team. And you got Dallas that, despite having Luka out and Clay out, they're somewhat deep. And not just that they're deep, but look who they're beating. They take down OKC, they take down New Orleans, they take down Denver. They lost to Miami at Miami, but that was the second of a 3-game road trip here. And best team in the NBA to be on the second leg of a back-to-back with no rest, the Dallas Mavericks. They're a perfect 12-0 on the second leg of a back-to-back with no rest when they're on the road. Now, you're going to take against one of the worst teams over the last 2 seasons statistically at home. You got one of the best teams in the NBA. The best team in the NBA on the second leg of a back-to-back with no rest. And you got one of the worst, the worst team over the last 2 seasons against the spread at home. A lot to think about here. We'll take Dallas. I think I was coin flipping to the over, and I think I decided not to take the over. And I don't know if that's the right move here, because if you look at it, since Luka's been out, man, they've gone 4 straight overs. Their numbers are pegged somewhat interestingly low. 226.5, 222.5, 229.5, and then at 221. With a spread now that's sitting all the way up at 236.5. So the books think this game's going to sail over the number. I just have a feeling if Dallas kicks the shit out of them too bad, Atlanta says, fuck you, we're not playing anymore. They take their ball and they go home. That's my concern. Mitch asks, what do I think about the total in the Magic game? It started at 214.5. It's gone down to 212.5. Probably for a reason. I would think the Magic team total under would be the way to play that. It's not that I would get excited to go play here, but you got a 108.5. They get, my numbers suggest they get to around 101 or 102. That's why I think that Charlotte's a live dog. Their team total is 103.5. And if they come out there and win this thing by 1 or 2 points, that puts the Magic at 102, and you got a 108.5. So quick on the fly assessment there. Man, I got a bunch of them for you guys. I'll just rapid fire a couple other spots for you guys to think about. The Memphis Grizzlies, 41-7-2 against the spread, facing an opponent on a 3+ game road trip. And they led by at least 30 the last meeting. That does like Memphis. Do you want to lay 10 points with Memphis against Portland? 41-7-2 with a 7-point margin of victory. OKC Thunder is a play. I almost jumped on the Thunder here. Fuck the Sacramento Kings and everybody that wears fucking jerseys that say Sacktown on them. Teams off a game forcing more than 11 turnovers, holding their opponent under 105 points. So forcing a lot of turnovers, playing defense, are 33-4 with a margin of 7.2 points per game. OKC Thunder. Laying 4.5. Should win by double digits. And then you got the Nets. The Nets in Golden State. The Warriors are 11-0 against the spread. Following a road game in which they allowed 32 fourth quarter points. So when they played shitty defense, they come back and bust them up. Shitty fourth quarter defense, they come back and bust them up. It's the defense not closing the game. It's a bounce back spot. And those games sail over by 14 points a game as well. So there's a couple other thoughts for you guys when it comes to the NBA. Maybe I'll start doing that a little bit more. Like I've got them written down for a shit ton of games. I just go through and my favorites, the ones that I'm putting my cash on. It doesn't mean those other ones won't get my cash. It just means that as we start this day off here, as we get to this window here a couple minutes before 7, that's where I'm at. Let's go last game. Last game on the card is the NFL. We're trying to get back here. We missed our last two touchdown parlay props, which sucks because we were like 9-2. So I think we're 9-4 now. We're still up a boatload of units though, because they're plus 600s, plus 700s, plus 900s. Tonight we go back to plus 700. We got the Baltimore Ravens. We got the Los Angeles Chargers. And it shows the numbers open and it's sitting where it's opened, which isn't true. Because this number came back to 2.5 at about an hour before pre-gaming started. We have 62% of the bets and 54% of the cash on the Ravens. This line bounced back now. Just like we talked about a few minutes ago, the late movement has been to the Ravens. It's important to know if you believe in that stuff. The U-shaped movement. I remember our guy Jimmy used to talk about that all the time. The movement's in a U. When it comes down, that's the public. Generally, that last part of the U is the sharp betting coming in. And they like that 2.5s and 3s. 47's the total it opened at. It's at 51 now. So you got 4 points of movement. And it correlated there. You've got 53% of the bets, but 72% of the cash on the over in this game. And, it's the Harbaugh Bowl. We know. One Harbaugh is undefeated against the other Harbaugh. It's not the one that's playing for the Chargers, or coaching the Chargers. Matter of fact, when they played was that Candlestick that they played and the lights went out? Remember that one, you guys? Where the lights went out for like 14 minutes. It was right when, who did he coach for before he went to Michigan? It was right, they were starting to come back. It was in the second half and the lights went out for like 14 or, it was a long time. It was a long time of no lights. And then the Ravens Harbaugh just steps up and takes over, and that was it. And he's never looked back. The other Harbaugh's a cheater. We know from Michigan, just like Chip Kelly. Harbaugh, fucking weird dude. Like talking about climbing trees with his recruits and shit. Like weird dude, but cheated. And he left Michigan before NCAA shut him down. So there's no question he cheated. I don't know how these dudes get on the sidelines. That's what I don't understand when you look at these guys overall. But Ravens just came off a bad loss. And that says everything. 18-16 at Pittsburgh. Shitty conditions. Now on the road. Traveling across the country. And you got a 4 straight game winning streak with the Chargers. Who have the Chargers played? Now, you could ask about the schedule for the Ravens. It's very difficult, for sure. I'm a little concerned because they do have that look ahead. You know about the look ahead, you know what I'm talking about. Who are the Ravens playing next week? Potential Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia somebody's. How about that? They're playing somebody from Philadelphia. And it's going to be on short rest. So flip side with the Chargers overall, again, I mentioned their kind of schedule here. Now they're coming in at 7-3, which is impressive because I kind of do believe that Justin Herbert's a pile of dog shit. A flaming, stinking pile of dog shit that's been left out in the fucking hot sun for 3 straight days. That's what I think of Justin Herbert. Getting you beat up New Orleans. Great job. 26-8. You take down Cleveland 27-10. That was in Cleveland. So if you're going to comp, recent opponents and play the latter game or this team beat that team and vice versa, that's a big one. That does stand out. Then you take down Will Levis 27-17, and then you beat up Cincinnati 34-27. Good job, Chargers. And they're sitting at fourth in the standings in the AFC. So going to be a battle. These guys should fire, but it's bounce back spot for none other than Lamar Jackson. I give you guys a whole bunch of numbers on this one, but let's break it down. Let's get into some of these numbers. The Baltimore Ravens are 10-0 off a divisional loss in the Lamar Jackson era. After Lamar throws a pick, what's he do the next game? He gets pissed at himself. He's a perfect 12-0 against the spread when he throws a pick the previous game. Road favorites. 74-23 to the under. If their previous opponent had more than 13 third down attempts and they went under the total their last meeting. That's so big because I just mentioned who have they played? What have they done? 13 third down attempts. They just kept moving the chains, tick, tick, tick. And we know Cincinnati's been struggling to pick up wins. We can go down the numbers. Primetime overs are 21-16. Primetime favorites are 24-15. And when the total is greater or equal to a 50, the under is 35-17. So there's some other numbers for you guys to consider along the process. I can't not get involved with this Ravens team here. Super Bowl is probably going to end up being, I think the AFC's Baltimore versus Buffalo. I said that before they played Buffalo that week, a couple weeks ago. And I think the NFC is going to be the Eagles versus the Lions. And Baltimore's not going to make it way to the Super Bowl if they lose to teams like the Chargers. They should be able to go out there and get it done. For anybody that's interested, the parents won't be there. They're going to stay at their home in Florida because it's their anniversary. So you won't have to see any of the parents in the stands at 100 years old. Exactly 1 year ago, these teams played. I don't think it was exactly a year ago. But 20-10, the Ravens beat the Chargers. Now, coaching changes, be damned. I got it. Dobbins, revenge game for sure. No question about it. But look, Baltimore's run defense is it's elite. That's going to be a shutdown factor. That's what's going to have to force Justin Herbert to throw the ball. When he throws the ball, and he's going to throw it against the secondary that could certainly go out there and pick his ass. It's going to be problematic. I'm jumping in on the Ravens for this game. But I'm going to give you guys the 2 touchdown parlay as well. I'm just straight Ravens minus 2.5. I don't like this. I don't like the total enough. If I was going to jump in, I would tease it up and take it down. I would add that 6-pack and I would take the under, especially after watching Monday night's game, a scorcher to the over. Are we going to, or Sunday night's game? Are we going to see Sunday and Monday get there? I don't know. That I don't know. But what I do know is I got Andrews and McConkey. Why? Well, I just talked about the run defense for the Ravens. It's elite. It's the best in the NFL. So what's that mean? Well, they got to pass the ball. The Chargers aren't going to score by running it in there. But no, they probably will, but the juice isn't worth the squeeze. More likely, ask yourself this question. Is it more likely that J.K. Dobbins goes out there and hammers the best run defense in the league? Or is it more plausible that your number one wide receiver in Ladd McConkey, who outnumbers targets 2-1, the closest guy on the team, and outnumbers receptions almost 2.5 times, 2.5 to 1, with a 4-1 touchdown ratio across the rest of the board, is the guy that finds a way to get through the pay dirt, get in the end zone? I'm going to go with the wide receiver. That's a rhetorical question. Now, J.K. Dobbins could catch that thing and get it in the end zone. That wouldn't surprise me because J.K. Dobbins is kind of sitting there on the team, 29 total targets, 25 receptions. That's because you got a coward and Justin Herbert. They start blitzing, he starts flicking, and you got these little bullshit running back slant or flat passes that account for no yards, no gains. How do I quantify no gains? Let me tell you. Around 4.2 yards or so per completion for J.K. Dobbins. So I guess it's not as bad as it could be, but nonetheless, I started out there and then I went to the other side, and here's one for you guys. Big reason that I jumped in and said, why not Derrick Henry? Well, yeah, Derrick Henry's probably going to go out there and smash. Again, there's very little question about that. But how about this? We focused on Lamar Jackson, talking about how he bounces back after a loss, a divisional loss on top of that. Bottom line, dude's a fucking maniac. 11 wins in 12 primetime starts, his last 12. In his last 10 primetime starts, he's thrown. 21 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He plays spectacular in the bounce back spot, and he's throwing an average of over 2 touchdowns a game. Who is he likely to throw it to? Well, we can take a look. But I thought the tight end experience here, give me this guy. I mean, he loves Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has been, I don't know. I haven't seen a ton that I like out of Mark Andrews, but I think the tight end matchup is favorable for Mark Andrews. And if you look at it kind of overall, Flowers, Bateman, and Andrews, top 3 targets, and then likely tied in targets with Mark Andrews. So collectively, he throws the ball around. 26 targets for Nelson Aguilar, 37 targets for Justice Hill, Isaiah Likely with 39, Rashad Bateman with 52 targets, and Zay Flowers with 79. Well, Zay Flowers is in fuck off foreverland for me. But I just every time I bet on the guy, he fucking bends me over. But look at the touchdown across the board. Number 1 receiving touchdown plays, Mark Andrews. If you're going to take the shot, it's plus 700. To me, it's worth it. History dictates he's going to pass this ball in there. And his favorite target is that big boy in tight end, Travis Kelce-esque Mark Andrews. We saw Kittle at a big game. Why not see Mark Andrews come back and have a big game as well? That's how we're going to do it. 7:08 p.m. Thank you guys all for rocking with us tonight. Going to be a lot of fun to see how this card works out for us. And we got a big week. We got a big Thanksgiving week. So it'd be a great time to start winning some money now. J Main, appreciate you. KV in the house. Turnsy 66. I appreciate you coming in. Nanya. He says I'm wrong. Won't be the first time, Nanya. Joey Harb, Mitch Morber, Trisha M. Shout out to Oldie gifting 5 sports money memberships. There's Redbeard in the house. Appreciate Ramon Scott. That's right. The game was, I couldn't remember where it was, Ramon. I remember, you know what? The Saints were in the back of my head, and I thought Harbaugh never coached the Saints. That's what got me. Shout out to you, Ramon Scott. Check out the morning steam with my guy. Jay Main dropping his action in there. Nathan Cerna says, intersecting zeros. I know you guys love the intersecting zeros, man. Don't find them that often, but when I do, I'll bring them to the table for you guys. Irish King. Good luck, everybody, tonight with your action. And shout out to T. Moss. Says Iowa State has had a very weak schedule. Auburn beat Houston, whom is probably still the best team in the country. I love it. I love that look. TransCanada. My gosh, TransCanada. I was going to text you the other day. I saw that Flyers win, and I thought, where's my guy Trans? You got no shit to talk? He's not going to talk about how he hates the color orange or how bad the Flyers. How are you going to say that? Orange looks so pretty when they win, my dude. Thank you guys all for hanging out with us, and make sure you do check out our guy, Ramon Scott. Breaking news. I don't know if we're going to be backstage or not, but keep your notifications on. Maybe checking some things out with my guy, Razor Sharp Picks tonight. So there's a little dangler. There's a little teaser for you guys here, and appreciate everybody taking the time. If you could, on the way out the door, smash that thumbs up button and get your asses back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to hang out with Ramon Scott in the morning steam. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button. And thank you, Jay Peasy, for his fire outro we got. Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. We don't stop. Rain, sleep, or snow.